What if one choice could rewrite history? Imagine a world where Hitler never invaded the Soviet Union. Welcome to The Drowsy Historian, the podcast where we dive into the wild, twisting paths of alternate history. I'm your host, and today we're stepping into a world where June 1941 changes everything. No Operation Barbarossa. No German tanks roaring across the Russian steppes, no epic clash on the Eastern Front. So, what happens when Hitler turns away from the Soviet Union? Buckle up, because this is going to be a thrilling ride, one that'll make you rethink World War II and the world we live in. It's mid-1941, and Nazi Germany is an unstoppable force. France is gone, Britain's hanging by a thread, and the swastika dominates Europe from Warsaw to Paris. Hitler's empire is a juggernaut, but he's at a crossroads. In our timeline, he betrayed the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact and launched the largest land invasion in history against Stalin's Soviet Union. But what if he didn't? What if Hitler said, "No, not yet," and kept his eyes elsewhere? Why might he do that? Maybe he feared the Soviet Union's vast size and brutal winters, Napoleon's ghost looming large. Maybe his generals begged him to avoid a two-front war. Or maybe he saw bigger opportunities in the West or the Mediterranean. Whatever the reason, this choice sends shockwaves through history. Without an Eastern Front, Germany's war machine stays lean and mean. No Stalingrad, no Leningrad, no millions of soldiers lost in the snow. Those tanks, planes, and troops, they're ready for action elsewhere. Let's start with Britain. The Battle of Britain gets uglier. The Luftwaffe, not distracted by Russia, pounds London, Liverpool, and every airfield in sight. Could Churchill hold out, or would Britain, battered and alone, have to cut a deal? Imagine the swastika over Big Ben. Resistance movements across Europe, France, Poland, Norway, face a Nazi regime with all its focus on crushing them. It's a dark thought, isn't it? But stick with me, because this gets wilder. Now let's cross the Atlantic. The US is watching, and in our timeline, the Eastern Front bought them time to gear up after Pearl Harbor. But here, Germany's not bleeding out in Russia. It's stronger, scarier. Does Roosevelt push harder to join the war, or do America's isolationists dig in, saying, "This isn't our fight"? If Japan, seeing Germany's success, doubles down in the Pacific, the US might be too busy to jump into Europe. The world's balance is wobbling. Can you feel it? Meanwhile, what's Stalin doing? He's no saint, and he's not sitting still. Without an invasion, he's got time to rebuild the Red Army, crippled by his own purges. Could he turn it into a modern powerhouse? Or, here's a twist, might Stalin strike first, rolling tanks into Europe to spread his own empire? Picture a Soviet offensive, not defending Mother Russia, but conquering in Stalin's name. The Cold War. We know it might never happen, or it might kick off way earlier, with a map we wouldn't recognize. Here's where it gets chilling. The Holocaust. In our timeline, the invasion of the Soviet Union ramped up the Nazis' genocide, with death squads trailing the armies. Without that invasion, the pace might slow, but would it stop? Or would a stronger Germany, free from Eastern losses, pour even more into its horrific plans? These questions hang heavy, don't they? They remind us how high the stakes are in this alternate world. And then there's technology. Germany, not stuck in the Russian mud, might fast-track its jets, rockets, even nuclear research. Could the Nazis beat the Allies to the atomic bomb? That's a nightmare scenario. Resistance fighters in occupied Europe, meanwhile, face a Germany with no distractions. Every partisan hideout, every sabotage plot is up against a regime at full strength. Zoom out to the big picture. Without the Soviet Union taking the war's worst hits, over 20 million dead in our timeline, the human cost shifts. Europe's borders, its people, its identity could be unrecognizable. Would the UN exist? NATO? The Warsaw Pact? And the post-war world? Would the US and Soviet Union still rise as superpowers, or would a stronger Germany call the shots? A world under Nazi rule, or a chaotic, multipolar mess? As we wrap up, think about this. History is fragile. One decision, like Hitler sparing the Soviet Union, could unravel everything. The victories, the tragedies, the world we know, all hang on moments like this. Could this path have led to a darker world, with Nazi flags still flying? Or could it somehow have sparked a different fight, a different hope? I don't have all the answers, but these questions keep me up at night. So, what do you think? Could one man's choice rewrite billions of lives? Thanks for joining me on this wild ride through history's what-ifs. If this got your brain buzzing, hit subscribe, share your thoughts, and tune in next time for another dive into the unknown. Until then, keep wondering. What if? This is all my hypothesis. If you are interested, then like and subscribe my channel to wait for the next videos about history.